me to just start everything?
I would say your safe space to where you know not to walk towards is or walk past.
Yeah, let me see what y'all see.
I wouldn't walk past.
The chair should be centered behind between the like it should be centered.
So I need to scoot them over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I look at the whole round.
Scoot over.
I mean,
Or
we could
just
adjust the camera a little bit.
And we'd be over people's heads.
yeah.
No, the other way. I don't think it's
That's going
other way.
the other way. Yeah, other way.
No.
That way.
There, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, it is inverted. That's what was messing me up.
You probably, if you want that in the center, you probably have to scoot over some more. But I'll move the chairs in the middle if you want.
Yeah, if you want to move the chairs.
Yeah, you probably want to scoot it over a little bit more.
And then I'm going to go ahead and flip the orientations on that.
If I do this, is this okay? Yeah, that's cool. All right. Cool. All right. Very good. Cool. Good. Okay. Good. Good. All right. Well, welcome everyone to once again to our Motivational Mondays. Our Motivation Mondays. We are here live in the borough. How's everybody feeling today?
Good.
How's everybody feeling today? Okay. Great. I have been deemed with the task. My name is Derrick Strode, and I've been deemed with the task to deal with the ultimate blueprint today. So the ultimate blueprint. So I didn't think about this, but I may have to have y'all make me up. Well, I guess I won't put on the shirt just so you don't have to deal with that or whatnot right now, even though I wanted to go ahead and morph into that right now, but we'll save that. But shout out to Jeremy. He's over in Hawaii right now. So we're stepping in. He's taking care of business over there, dealing with his book and so forth. But Motivation Mondays, we just really want people to get what they need to get through the rest of the week. We're a family-friendly environment. We just want everyone to get some love, get what they need, network with one another, find all the things that you need to do to just keep pushing through the week, make your business better, sometimes your life better, and maybe just create some connections and so forth. So right now, even though the way that I move around, I may have to stand up and stuff, but I am going to have a seat. Before we get started, what Jeremy always likes to do, which I always enjoyed, is just we just want to just get yourself in the right mindset. You know, just we don't have DJ Jada here today, but so we're not gonna to get the waterfall music. But what we normally do is we just imagine ourselves with some peaceful sounds in the back. Do I need to move maybe in a different spot, or are we okay? All right. And what we would want to do is just visualize ourselves for about maybe 25, 45 seconds, just with and I'll do it with you. But what we want to do is just think about the good place. Everything is working the way that you want it. The people that you want around are there. The things that you wanted to happen. You're amazing, brother. So all of these things are just, everything is in the flow. Everything is just working as it should. The things that you planned and prepared, that you prayed for, that you built up, everything is functioning as it should. And life's just good. It's what you wanted it to be. It's what you visualized. And you're experiencing it right now with the ones that you love, the people that you want to be there. You can look at everything that you've been through, all of the tragedy and pain that you had to do to be able to get to where you are. But now you're just feeling that moment of not just recovery, but triumph. Like you've gotten there and now nothing is impossible for you. You have the blueprint in action. Okay, so we're going to interrupt that now real quick before you get too far out of reality. So or whatnot. And I hope that is some people's reality. But right now, with us getting ready to deal with the ultimate blueprint, I have to stand up and move around. Sometimes it's just the way I am. But with the ultimate blueprint, as I was looking up a lot of things dealing with it, a lot of times the ultimate blueprint doesn't go according to plan. What we set out to do, what we decide is going to be the way that it's going to go, what we build up, this is our fortress, this is our foundation, these are the things. It's like it just falls down like it was a sandcastle. Like, you get this crashing wave called life, and then you just end up starting over. You realize that what you had set up at first just didn't work out the way that you planned. And that could be because of family, friends, miscalculations, just not doing it right, not picking the best things to deal with along the way. Could have been something completely exterior that you did everything right, but the wrong things came around. So when I was looking at some stuff on the ultimate blueprint, this mic is really for y'all, but y'all can hear me anyway. So right now I'm not going to worry about the mic for a second. And maybe if I just sit down and chill, I'll get back on the mic. You're wonderful. I appreciate you. But when I was looking up a few things on just the two words individually, the ultimate and the blueprint, what I discovered is that ultimate as the adjective really means more of like final. It puts you in the mindset more of like ultimatum, like you got to decide either way that you're going to go. But as a noun, it's usually looked at as like the best possible way. So if you're going to do something all the way that you could do something, that's what we look at as the ultimate. And I'm sure Matt knows more well than others with dealing with real estate about blueprints, but so we always look at like real estate. You think about the plans, literally it may be whatever kind of paper, but you got that kind of blue chalky ink that gives these designs and so forth. But looking at it from just the definition of it, it said something along the lines of where it's the building plans. And with the building plans, it has the dimensions. It has the construction materials that are going to be used in it, the components, when they're going to be used, how they're going to be used. And all of these things make up the ultimate blueprint. All of these things determine the ultimate blueprint. So if we put those words together, it would be the best plan for the plan. The best way you can imagine yourself doing something and whatever that something is. So I'm going to give you guys several notes, everything that could get things thrown off happen today. So that always gets me excited because that means that there's going to be some super great information coming out because life just works that way, to where things will just trigger stuff and it just won't come out or it won't come up. That really means you're usually on to something. So one of the things I was going to give you, I was index cards, but everybody's got phones. If you need to take notes or whatever, we're going to do a little exercise, but you can worry about that later. I'm going to put this down for now so we can really, without the music or closing your eyes or thinking about things, this is the first thing that everyone has to understand. Everyone's ultimate blueprint is going to be different. Everyone's ultimate blueprint is going to change over time. The plan that you have now that's going to be perfect for 2024 almost for certainly will not be the exact same plan that you need for 2030, maybe even not 2025. It's just kind of how the way that life deals. You never know what's coming up. Industries may change, like the college reports are saying now that the skilled trades are now transitioning every 18 months. So it's not even a good setup for college. If you're going to a 4-year school, the very thing that you started with in your first year and a half, it may be obsolete. So just knowing that your ultimate blueprint is always going to be able to change. But for you to have the best ultimate blueprint, it's way deeper than business. It's way deeper than business. The ultimate blueprint comes from within. For you to have an ultimate blueprint, it's going to depend on based on what your values are. So if you could jot down what you think the top 3 or 4 things that mean the most to you in this life while you have breath in your body, that's going to be a part of creating your blueprint. when you think about the top 3 to 4 things that bring you joy, that's going to be a part of your blueprint. Sometimes those 4 things aren't the same, hopefully so, but it doesn't always work that way. You may enjoy doing music, but what gives you joy may be your children or seeing your loved ones or your family. It's different things. But I've got a ton of acronyms that I want you to understand for whatever that you decide that your blueprint is going to be. First off, for your ultimate blueprint to work and be sustainable on any level in any arena of success that you want to have, it has to have love in it. And love, I'm using as an acronym for levels of value expressed. What that means is that whatever that you're presenting to the market, what you're bringing to the table in your personal, social, spiritual, physical, any type of life that you design that is a part of your value system, it has to have love. And that acronym is levels of value expressed. Where most businesses fail isn't because they're not good enough, isn't because they don't have an audience, isn't because they don't have a great product. The people that need to know about them most don't know about them at all. So for your blueprint to be an ultimate blueprint, the majority of your activities that you do have to have a way that those levels of value are being expressed. Whether it's through your interaction, whether they come to your website, whether it's how things are from people through testimonials, whether it's people experiencing it right as it's happening. But the levels of value have to be expressed. You can only get so far on what someone says about your product. Eventually, someone's going to experience it. And what's even worse than that is that a lot of people may experience your service or your product, but you didn't get a testimonial. You didn't capture that great moment that was there. There was a life-changing event for someone. Like I know of everyone pretty much almost that's in the room. And with everyone's business and the way that everyone's product or service works, there are specific moments that are life-changing. I don't care if it's dealing with healthcare. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with real estate, buying your first home. It doesn't matter if it's dealing with hair, because appearance definitely determines how it looks. I couldn't get extreme cutie patootie, but I made sure my hair looked a certain way. You know what I mean? I try to, do okay. You know what I mean? Thank you. I appreciate it, bro. Or whatnot. That flattery gets you everywhere. You know what I mean? That works. But it's all of those things. Like no matter what it is. Let's dig a little deeper than that. Be outside of your levels of value. Let's go internal, not external. You have to remember how valuable you are. This is one of the most crucial parts of it, because it's going to determine whether you're waking in your purpose or you're working in your purpose. And when you wake in your purpose, you're going to be moving a different way. You're not getting up because you have to be somewhere at a certain time. As soon as you get up, that's what you're thinking about. That's what motivates you. That's what's keeping you going. That's why you can say, looking at the end of the day, when you do get to have your bath or get ready to hit the bed, I can't believe I put in 10, 12, 14, 16 hours. I can't believe I did all of this. But what's really driving you and keeping your energy going is the purpose. It's the value that you've really found in it. And then more importantly, we need to be able to express that value to ourselves. Like, if you should be your number one cheerleader, even though it's good to get some pats on the backs, like, you have to always be in a mindset that what you're doing is mattering, and it can't be from external validation. External validation will not fit well in the ultimate blueprint, because people change. Seasons change, industries change, the way that they look at how important this is. One day, I may want to walk around looking for a caveman next week. That doesn't mean that the barbershops and the salons still aren't priceless. I'm just, not getting my hair cut, even though maybe I should. Maybe I'll feel better. I feel a certain way when I wear a suit. I feel a certain way if I'm in pajamas. It shouldn't be that way, but that's just the way that it is. If people go to the beach, if they feel good about the way that they look, they may want to show it off. They may want to be more covered up if they don't feel that way. But at the end of it all, people should feel good about themselves regardless. But Fortunately and unfortunately, that's not how life works. So sometimes it's the businesses that we bring to the table that change on how people view their outlook on life. It's actually changing the way that they're looking at themselves. So your ultimate blueprint can be a stepping stone for people to get back to themselves. So it's very important for us in the marketplace to present our service and our product in the best way. So I want to give you guys several things that'll help you along the way. Is when you have your ultimate blueprint, you want to make sure that it's helping your audience hold your touchstone. And what a touchstone is like dominoes. So dominoes, their touchstone was 30 minutes or it's free. So with the 30 minutes or it's free, that was their touchstone. It wasn't about whether or not their pizza was good, whether or not it was better than Pizza Hut. Didn't really matter about any of those things. The 30 minutes of it or it's free. Some people would order Domino's pizza hoping that they came in 31 minutes just so they could get the free pizza. And that's just the way that it is. So whatever that your touchstone is in the marketplace, whatever that should align with your slogan or whatever that your motto is, when you have that in the right manner, people ought to be able to grab and hold on to that. When you're presenting your ultimate blueprint, you want to teach the information, you want to sell the implementation. You want to teach the information, but you want to sell the implementation. You've got to be able to work with systems. Now, the system is for the process. The offer is for the result. So again, you want to teach the information, and then you want to be able to offer. The offer should deal with the result. You want to sell the implementation, teaching the info. So what does this mean in the simplest terms? If you're telling everybody about all of your features and benefits that you have with whatever product that you have, you're going to normally overwhelm people. But if you can help them realize the impact that your product or service has afterwards, they're going to concentrate on what it is that they actually desire. But before we deal with everybody else, back to us. I know how it is. I promise you, on more than I want to know how it is, on doing what you have to do sometimes versus what you want to do, just to take care of whatever your responsibilities are, whether it's having a family, whether it's just the bills that arise from things that you're a part of, the things that you do. But at some point, as you're building out your ultimate blueprint, there should be a point to when what you're doing is also feeding you, not from a monetary standpoint, but it's actually giving you fuel for the drive that you're continuing to deal with and have. So I got a couple acronyms. So one is the stove, because we got to be cooking. If you want to have ultimate blueprints, you got to be cooking. But cooking is just carving out offers out of knowledge. Pretty much everything that you need to pull out your ultimate blueprint is already within you already. There's something different that resonates with me than resonates with you. There's something that you really hold dear, that you're really passionate about more than anyone else. And there's a reason. Everyone has their own design, and it's something different that we can bring to the table for a variety of people. Like there's some things that no matter how I could say this to a person, you saying it to that person is going to come off way, way better. There's a difference in what they call feminine and masculine energy. There's some things I can say to a kid with masculine energy that may help, and there's some things that women can say to a kid and it just calms everything down like they didn't listen to anything we just said. And that's just reality. So embrace the side that you're on, no matter which side that it is. But to get to the stove is systems that offer values every day. Systems that offer values every day. You got to have it on the stove. And if you're going to be cooking, you're carving out the offers. So when you carved out the offers carved out offers out of knowledge, That's to cook. You're going to put it on the stove. Systems that offer values every day, every way, every time, whatever you want to use for that E. But I mean, literally, if you want to have a hot offer, it always comes back to just letting your value be known. I'm telling you, there's a great mentor that I follow a ton of his information named Myron Golden. And one of his actual businesses is called the Make More Offers Challenge. And it's amazing that how many people that have a great product that never bring it to market. It's just in their head. Like all of these, we've heard the saying, like all of the best stuff is like in the cemetery, all the best ideas, all the great things that nobody ever did, that nobody ever did anything with. It's just in the cemetery because nobody ever did anything with it. And for your ultimate blueprint, you're going to have to be blank. You're going to need a clean slate. And that's just bringing love as necessarily known. There are areas that in your life, based on what you've been through, uniquely you, that have molded you or shaped you willingly or voluntarily or forcefully, any of them, that uniquely make you who you are. And that's okay. That's actually wonderful because the standpoint of the perspective that you now have with life is unique to you. So in my business, or in one of my businesses, one of the main things that I do for people is help them find the you inside of you. So basically, I make sure that the integrity that they have as a human being based on the values that they have as they're carving out their ultimate blueprint is expressed through all of the things that represent their business. If you're naturally a person of integrity, if you have values, if you value family, there's a way to interweave those things in your offering in a way that makes you unique to everyone else. Because people would always say that if the market is saturated, that's a bad thing. That's actually not a bad thing. That's a wonderful thing. That means that a lot of people want to buy it. So the thing that distinguishes people from having an ultimate blueprint or just having something that's okay is the way that they deliver the same information. Even the Bible says like there's nothing new under the sun. So the only thing that we're doing is figuring out a different way to deal with the same information in a way that's unique to us, that also allows our unique audience to reach us. And I want to pause for a second just to deal with audience. You have to be able to realize as you're forming your ultimate blueprint that everyone has an audience that's specifically unique to them. If everyone does not hear your message, it's not for them right now. And you got to be cool with that. Like you got to be completely cool that, okay, this isn't for you. I'm not your person. You're not my person. That's fine. Like there is no problem with that as you're carving out your ultimate blueprint. That's actually important because what you don't want to do is compromise your character, your offering, or what you bring to the marketplace by trying to offer it to people that really aren't your audience. You're going to end up losing yourself in the process. And what happens from that spiritually is that you don't resonate with yourself. You don't like what you're doing. You don't feel good about what you're doing, even though you're making the money. It doesn't feel right. It's not something you're proud of. You don't really want to mention it because you don't like the way you're getting it. And you're just going to eat yourself up alive when you can really get to the same goal just by being authentic and genuine. So your ultimate blueprint has to have authenticity. It has to have you being genuine, because if it isn't you, then you're wasting your time. Any time that you spend trying to be like someone else is a waste of your life. You can always learn from other people's. That's what a mentor is, for their hindsight to become your foresight. That's wonderful. Follow the habits of successful people. But the design, it's just like musicians. Like musicians, or singers, they'll find out what they came from, the way that they did it. Okay, you kind of play like this person, you kind of sound like this, or you sing like that, and so forth. But at the end of it all, though, that's all in the shaping of you. all of that is in the shaping of you. When we look at things just on a core level, the experiences that we've experienced give us our beliefs. Our beliefs don't create our experiences until after we've already experienced something to believe a certain way. If you try to have a sale and nobody buys it, you'll think that you shouldn't do business. If everybody buys it, but they want their money back, you think, okay, well, I'm over it, for whatever reason. Or if everybody buys it, you'll think you got a great thing. So you buy 10,000 of them and you find out that like the 10 people that loved it, that were your family and friends, don't represent the real market. So now you have all of this inventory that you can't move because your friends wouldn't tell you the truth about how crappy what you have is. You know what I mean? So it happens all of the time, all of the ways. So you're going to have to be willing to expose yourself to the marketplace, whether it's your talents, whether it's your gifts, whether it's your ideas, because until you actually put a plan or a blueprint to your idea and you take actionable steps, it's just an idea. It's just an idea. Now, a thing which the same mentor I was mentioning says, I learned about the 4 level of values, and with that being described, I really loved what it said. And the lowest level being implementation, the next level being unification, the next level being I think what's the next one? And the next one's unification. The highest is imagination, and the one in between deals something with creativity, but I think that's more like imagination. But the reason for that is because the lower 2 levels, unification, which can deal with management, and implementation, meaning you're actually putting the hours in, it's dealing with man hours. If you want to have the ultimate blueprint, you don't want it to remain linear. You don't want it to remain linear because you're never going to get your time. The best attributes of the ultimate blueprint is going to allow you to be, this is worth writing down. If your ultimate blueprint is working, possibly, it's going to allow you to have the most time being who you are. If your ultimate blueprint is performing properly, it's going to give you the most time to allow you to be who you are. And what that means is that if you got revenue streams, if you got passive income, all of that's great. But if you have to manage it all for it to keep going, or even is it really passive, that's a whole different conversation. But if you have these residuals coming in and you've got enough cash flow, you got more coming in than you got going out, to where now that if you're a writer, you can just go climb a mountain or sit on the beach or go out in nature and really tap in and really write the way that you want to write. Or if you're a creator, if you do music, if you're a visionary, no matter what it is, the more time that your blueprint allows you to be in what you feel is your natural essence and element, the better it's working. Because this is where all of the gold is. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, see, I'm the opposite type of person when I help people. I teach people how not to fail instead of teaching people how to be successful. I would rather teach people how not to fail. So like one of the first books that I'm releasing is 101 Ways to Be Unsuccessful. Because I think all of these people have all of these success books, but even though they've sold 1 million copies, the millions of people aren't successful. So what is the difference in what happens as to why it doesn't happen? It's very simple. Life gets in the way. Life gets in the way. What happens is that I know I should do this, but this happened. I know this is going on, but this. And there's an example in the Bible. Like, I didn't come here to preach. I'm just going to give you all this blueprint. But there is a great example in the Bible. It's in Mark. And it's when this guy that works in the synagogue named Jairus or whatnot, or however they want to pronounce his name, he's got this daughter that's dying. She's supposed to, get ready to die. People are trying to reach there. So he's like, Jesus, he hollers at the homie. It's like, boom, I need you to come see about my daughter. Jesus like, cool, let's go. Jesus runs through the crowd. He's trying to get there. Saying he's being thrown. Everybody's around him. In the middle of that, this is when you hear the story about the woman with the issue of blood. So she touches the garment, she gets healed, interrupted. They give him the bad news. The daughter's dead. And so it seems like it's a bad thing. Jesus says to him, don't be afraid, only believe, or whatnot. So moral of the story, ends up getting to the end of it. Daughter ends up being cool. He's only got people that thinks the way that he thinks. Everything's good. The lady gets her issue taken care of, all of that. Two things we want to look at from that. When you're in your flow state or you're in your zone, no matter what comes up or comes around, regardless, no matter what interruption or distraction comes up along the way, if you're actually operating in your element, it ain't going to stop you from being who you are. Like it's not going to stop you from being who you are, and whoever needs what is going to get it. Like I said, there were so many different things that could have slowed things down, had me have a bad attitude about today, make me want to throw in the towel on this, that, and the other or whatnot. But I live in a mentality to where if not this, then something better. Period. I just rest in that place because I know that to actually be true, because this is another thing worth writing down. You have to put on your energy before you put on your clothes. That's a part of your ultimate wardrobe for the ultimate blueprint. You have to put on your energy before you put on your clothes, because that's going to ultimately shape the way that you're looking at what you're getting ready to attack, what looks like it's attacking you. That's whether or not you look at an obstacle as an obstacle or you look at it as an opportunity. It's whether or not you're asking the question of what can I learn this instead of what did they do to me and why did this go wrong? It's like, okay, well, how do I make this never happen again versus I can't believe this happened? So you have to put on your energy before you put on your clothes. It's a wardrobe within itself. But when you have this done, when you've actually achieved that, you're going to be in a different frequency to achieve the things that you want to achieve. That's why I said when we first started, writing down the things that are valuable to you are a part of the most important parts of your ultimate blueprint on an exterior level, because you're going to have those reminders when things get tough. Like, I'm going to need to look at a picture of my daughters every now and then, just when life gets weird. You know, I'm going to have to reflect on some things. So this is a good thing for your, you should write this down. You want to have better contrast frames. And what contrast frames are, simply put, is that if you're only looking at your life or your situation or your business from this point to that point, it may feel a certain way. But if you can widen that or shrink it, depending on which way you're looking at something, that's going to change it. So if my daughter got a bad report card, I could say me and her could have conflict, and maybe I'm upset about it. If I get a call and I know as a pastor that I need to get ready to go to a vigil because someone lost their child, I'm not really going to complain about the report card right now. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer post-worthy. So you need good contrast frames to keep you in the right mindset as you're chiseling out your ultimate blueprint, because these are going to be the very sustainable things that allow you to have the securest foundation for making sure that that blueprint continually evolves. Because the ultimate blueprint is going to be ever changing. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You know, you don't have to write this down. You probably already know this yourself, but ultimately there is no ultimate blueprint. There is only a ultimate blueprint for the season and the space that you find yourself in. And as you grow out of that and you continually evolve from where you are to where you are now, that changes. So you have to be fine and be able to adapt to have a great ultimate blueprint. Is everybody okay right now? Okay. I don't want to be boring, y'all.
Good stuff.
Okay. Just making sure. Flattery gets you everywhere. Cool. So I want to kind of brainwash y'all on a couple of things. So I know that at some point during any day, you're going to see Nike, because it's just what it is. So I'm going to give you an acronym for that, outside of their motto being just do it. And the acronym is Now I Know Enough. Now I know enough. We need to make sure we got this time stamp so they don't try to take that from us. But now I know enough. So every time you see that Nike check, just think to yourself, now I know enough. Because the truth of the matter is that we really know enough to do what we need to do. We know enough to be able to actually execute. So I'm going to deal with you from a different, instead of all the nice rosy stuff, let's talk about what will kill your ultimate blueprint. Never executing. If you never execute what you know, if you never execute that gut feeling to see it through and to take it from a gut feeling to be now some data that I have to go off to see what it is, if you never give yourself a shot to fail or succeed, you're not only killing your dreams, you're killing a part of yourself. Because it's a reason why that stirs up inside of you versus someone else. It's a reason why you can look at numbers and see this. It's a reason why you can see a room a certain way and then make it beautiful. It's a reason why you can look at a person however they are and then have them tailored the right way. Do I need to move this up? Am I okay? Good, cool. So there's a reason with all of these things, like for whatever that it is within you that makes you the ideal person to bring whatever it is in the way that you express living life. Like the truth of the matter is that we're all walking businesses. It's just whether or not we're for profit or nonprofit. But everything that we do, whether it's your character, whether it's your attitude, whether it's your smile or your frown, the kind words you say, the hateful things you say, any of that stuff is telling somebody something. It's presenting something to someone. It's leaving something with them. On a scientific level of things, and then I'll just, in a couple minutes, give y'all time just to ask any questions you want and so forth. On a scientific level of things, you have to make your frequency match what you expect. If my frequency has doubt, fear, disappointment, discouragement, it doesn't matter how I try to hide that with my words or with whatever, it's going to get sniffed out. Just the same way, if you elude peace, happiness, love, confidence, any of these things, that's contagious as well. So it's either going to cancel out the fears of your customers, or it's going to make your customers raise your eyebrows because at first they were ready to buy and now they're not because you're having a bad day. You didn't put on the right energy before you came to work. And now it's like, it's just some just don't feel right when really it's you. So that's why I'm saying everything that we want on the outside of us starts with the way that we present ourselves from the inside out. That's how your ultimate blueprint. If you just want a blueprint on paper, I'll give you all of those things. That people that, there's some people that may need help and they're just not there spiritually. Get to where you can get to when you can. So I'm going to give people some other practical things along the different lines. You need to do as many things if you want to have an ultimate blueprint. You need to make yourself more and more efficient without losing value to do it. It doesn't matter if I can put out 100 items when I could only put out 50 items in an hour if the quality of the product isn't as good anymore. What people were paying for, that can't diminish. So the ultimate blueprint is where your efficiency increases without loss or either gain of value. So an example of that in the real marketplace, I'll use Motivation Monday as an example. With us doing this recording now, Later, clips from the recording will be used as a lead page that will add people to the list so that they can either come in person more, or they'll be able to get on the next live stream as it goes along. We'll also be able, because we'll have those things, we'll be able to market to them or let them know about other venues or other people that want to contribute or bring their talents and skills to the marketplace to help that. They're going to come our way naturally because they already see what we're doing and what we're utilizing. Some people will want to end up speaking. They would want to say, now, okay, I didn't know y'all had a platform where I could speak. Can I speak sometime? I have something to bring or whatnot. So this all happens because outside of the room that we're doing it in right now, it's going to be exposed to where it can reach thousands of people that maybe we have never even met. It doesn't matter what time that we do this live. We'll have this set up in a manner where it can be viewed 24/7. So the more things that you can turn that works for you, that isn't on your sleep schedule, that you can have performing on your behalf, the quicker you get to being back to you, because you have something that's producing revenue while you're sleeping, while you're out with your family, while you are enjoying that time. Do things that already work for other businesses. Reinvent the wheel when the wheels don't work. Don't reinvent the wheel if the wheel is already perfect. My first consulting company that my second one that I had ever created, our slogan was like, we don't reinvent the wheels, we give them better tires. And it was just basically to keep people in the mindset, look, we don't need to start all over, let's make some adjustments and we're gonna be where we need to be. So do things that are tried, tested, and true, and don't be afraid to fail forward. Don't be afraid to fail forward. You're going to always learn more from your failures than you do from your wins. The reason why has nothing to do with any type of negativity. When you do something and it works out, now that's a comfort zone. Now that's a spot, and it's almost going to incidentally put you into a box that you don't need to be in, because now all of these things are working. So you need to be able to stay outside of the box as much as possible. And that's just by getting the right amount of exposures to not just this market, another market. So to sum everything up, run through everything real quick and leave it at that for now. Your ultimate blueprint, it has to have the love and it has to have the levels of values expressed. Whatever it is that makes your business, or you, and why you're the person, because people buy from people, not from businesses. The person that's behind that business is what people are buying. Because I liked your character, I want to learn more about what you got. Because I don't like your character, I don't care what you have. It's the way that it goes or whatnot. Make sure that you got stuff on the stove. It's systems that offer value every time. If something that you're bringing to the table or you think is hot isn't expressing the value that you got or anything else, start over. Take it out of the kitchen. And Nike. Now I know enough. Know that you know enough to go ahead and get started and do something. And trust me, the magic happens in the doing. The magic doesn't happen just thinking about it. Get out there and do it. Set it up and go. And then you constantly tweak your ultimate blueprint. So that's the main things that I have for the ultimate blueprint. If anyone has any questions about anything, I'll entertain those. Whatnot. Anybody got any questions? And I'm loving this shirt. So got to make sure we get a good view of this shirt. Like I said, I didn't want to mess up the mic, but I will be putting this shirt on. Absolutely. Anybody got any questions, thoughts, or anything? Well, okay, let me ask it this way. What if anybody, and I guess 30 seconds or 1 minute, whichever, what was your main takeaway from today? Okay.
Now I know enough. Yeah. I think it's more so just knowledge versus the confidence of the knowledge. It's one thing to know something, then it's another thing to move on what you know, and not feel like that you need more than the knowledge that you have just to start. Just knowing what you know is enough to start.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
I really like the putting your energy on first, because I believe in this own little motto of when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good things. And I just live by that. You know, I very much so focus on my energy before my appearance.
Got you.
Same. That's what I was gonna touch on. If I need a day or a moment to get my energy right, I'll take that moment before I leave my house.
Absolutely. That's an efficient move.
And I took a bunch of notes, so we can be here all night. But I really like what you said about find the 3 or 4 things that are most important to you and make sure that those are the driving force behind your blueprint.
Mm.
Like, because that takes some time to really sit down and think about, because, you know, you think about, oh yeah, money or this, you know, but no, if you really like sit down, what is the most important thing and how do you want to express that in the marketplace? Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm going to say that you're saying never executing will destroy your blueprint. So that was something like, you know, I mean, it happens a lot.
Right.
People,
Mhm.
they have lots of thoughts and they don't go out and do it. So that destroys the blueprint.
I really related to what you had to say when you were talking about doing things and not being satisfied in doing them, even though you're making money, right?
Mhm.
And you know, when you first start out in anything, a business, a new job, like you're excited, you're happy about the appointments, great for the client, any client you can get.
Right.
But there comes a tipping point where you can become jaded in that business, just for people or whatever, and that happened. And I hated doing what I was doing. I hated being in front of these people. I hated it. Like I absolutely
Been there.
hated it. I'm like making money, but I hate it.
Yeah, you're giving me flashbacks I don't
Right.
want. I know what you mean.
But because I wasn't showing up in
Yourself.
in myself, I was doing a service and they were happy with the service and I was good at the service, but I hated it. But I still do the same job now and I freaking love it.
It's a different person
It's a
showing
different
up.
thing, because now I show up for myself every day and I do what you're talking about, right? Put on your energy
First, yeah.
first, right? What you're talking about, putting on that energy is so freaking key. And now I love what I do because I'm not paying attention to the deal really anymore. I'm paying attention to the human in front of me.
Mm-hmm. I love
That's
it.
what matters to me.
There it is.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
it's your
I
value.
don't care about the deal. What am I here to give this person?
I had to take a phone call last night and I heard her say something about, you know, when the 10 friends or family that she thought were going to support you run out. That's a big thing that I feel like discourages a lot of people. Like the people you know normally probably aren't your customers. So I don't want that to ever discourage anybody. And it's crazy because the people closest to you, once they see results, that's when they circle back and they're like, now they're ready to be a customer. So that resonated a lot also.
And with that, I got a couple quick notes for y'all. Nobody likes to be first. Everybody hates to be last. So it's just, that comes kind of like just with the territory. Like one other acronym is MAIL, Moments Authenticating Intense Love. You always got to check your mail for your blueprint. Like, and so that it just means that you always got to keep moments that authenticate intense love. So you got to have magic moments. You got to have moments that bring you back to that feeling, like when we first started, like with everything being that if you can do anything, nothing's impossible, what would you be doing, all that kind of deal. You got to have things that bring you back to that, because it's like a recentering. It's like, you know, just like you have your days, you know, like for that, like you have to do those things that are going to reset you back into that place that's just, it reminds you of why you're doing it, you know, like what really matters. And I mean, the more that you can really just zone into that, because what I tell people, even like as far as like the code or the math, whatever you want to call it, like that I give people even for like prayer, is that it's more than just putting your hands together and talking. It's, if you can take a specific thought and really think it, and you can match that with a specific feeling and multiply that times intentful action, you're praying. Because you're going to show the divineness within you, your sincerity, by your actions, by your thought process, by the way that you go about doing things. So those prayers ultimately are going to always be answered. If you do things like they don't matter, this doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter to them. So hope, like I said, I hope everyone got some values. You got anything that stick out to you? Okay. There we're good, man. Well,
Thank you so much, Derrick.
Thank you, Derrick.
absolutely.
Great, Derrick.
Thank y'all again for the Motivation Mondays. We hope that everybody got something out of it. And we will see you in next week in Smyrna.
Smyrna.
Seven North